Hi folks, I'm Pete. Welcome back to my shed. Call me happy if you want. 'Cause I'm never blooming happy. Anyway, this is my CB400T and what we're going to do with it. Okay, so she's a 1978 Honda Hawks CB400T2. Same as the UK Dream, but higher handlebars, no headlight switch, various other little details that changed. When I got her, she was a complete wreck and looked like this. I then rebuilt her. She ran beautifully, sprayed her red, and she looked great. And then winter came, parked her up, and she developed a fault. The shed was damp, the old shed. So basically, she sat waiting for me to sort her out. I had a heart attack, followed by a second heart attack, and just nothing happened with her. The fault was that she wouldn't rev above 4,500 RPM, and then it went down to 4, then 3.5, and it sat at 3.5, and then she got hard to start. So basically, we're going to get her running, get her revving to the right sort of range. It might take us a few videos, but we'll get it done. She's one of them things. I love this bike. You can see where I lacquered the faults and things. The lacquer's turned white. She's got a few faults that need sorting, like the indicators. They've corroded. There's various little bits. Yeah, you can see where the brake fluid, the seal went in the brake master cylinder, the fluid ran down. I took the paint off. It went all the way down to the handlebars, like that, and took the paint off of there. So we've got to sort that out. So let's get on with it and sort her out. Right, so as you can see, we've taken off the tank, the side panels, the seat, which allows us access to loads of stuff. The rocker cover needs cleaning dramatically. That bracket belongs where the CDI should be. Took the CDI off because I suspect it's knackered. Took the generator cover off because it's either the CDI or the Stator ring. We'll soon find out. Basically, whole bike needs good going over. Okay guys, I replaced the Stator ring. This bolt was so tight that I used the Honda tool on here and it broke the tool. That's the tool to stop the engine turning over. So I threw it, it ended up somewhere behind those shelves. So I'm not going to go and retrieve it. The biggest problem that I had then was how to stop the engine turning over. So I did the simple thing and put a screwdriver in here. Big screwdriver. It's a big, was a big JIS screwdriver. Probably about 10mm wide. I put it in there, undid that bolt, then the end snapped off the screwdriver. So I had to, and that's while it was in the bore, so I had to take the head off. New head gasket is set on there, haven't done it all up yet, just got the timing set up. We have a red mark just here, which top dead center. The only reason for that is it's easier to put a mark there, and that way, quick glance, you know where it is. It's all lined up, as you can see. the marks on their line up. The cam's all set up right. Might not look like it on the camera, but it is. Checked and double checked. Got to turn the cam around in a minute, put the other bolt in, turn it around again, then put the tappets on. So I'm just going to do that. Got a new head gasket and the little rubber O-rings that go around the little guides that your head sits on. So there's the old ones. Got all the other parts set there. Didn't remove the barrels, so I'm not going to replace that gasket. So I'll just keep it as a spare. So let's see how the next stage goes. See if we can get this thing running right at last. Okay guys, I forgot to put in the other cam bolt. So, or one of the camshaft pulley. But, right, yeah, you see those lines now. Right, and then that's lined up. Right, now, that's one mistake I made. As I said, all these bolts, there's two of them, there's the other two, have the rubbers on them, like the end does. So that breaks that myth. Right, bolts are now torqued down. What you do is you put a socket onto the bolt, and you put a long extension through the hole to go down to the socket. Put your torque wrench on, and you can torque them up. Same as undoing them, etc. So engine's filthy, does need a good clean on the top end, but that's life. As you can see, there's some dirt in here, so it does need cleaning. Bit on the fins. Yeah, so it needs a good clean, as well as the top of the engine case there. I've got new inlets to go there. I bought those quite a while ago. So I've done all sorts of stuff. I've fitted the new airbox rubbers, cleaned up the clamps and painted them to the correct colour. Some of them coincidentally came with silver clamps, some of them came with black, and some of them came with gold. Don't ask me why. I think it's what they could get at the time. So either of the three colours are fine. As you can see, I replaced the sleeving on the wires, just to tidy things up. Just helps it look tidier. So that looks pretty good to me. Those bolts are tightened down to 23 foot-pounds per square inch, whatever it is. That's what it says in the manual. That's what I did. So where is it? Let's have a look. Can't really see now. I'm lost. Under that, go down, no. Where is it? There. Yep, that's nicely in there. You can see where the engine needs cleaning. Absolutely filthy. Yeah, so hopefully no oil leaks. One thing I will say is this bolt here, which you probably can't see very well, that one there, which is at the back of your cylinder head, holds the cam chain tensioner. That bolt does have a rubber O-ring in there in the head, and there is a funny little metal washer behind this bolt. Make sure you've got that on, otherwise you will end up with an oil leak. Obviously cam chain tensioner is there. You can adjust that while you're here. Usually a good idea, that way you don't end up with a cam chain rattle. Because adjusting the way Honda says just doesn't work on these bikes anymore. They're so old. There's so much muck gets in there that it just doesn't work anymore. Besides that, what else have I got to do on this? Yeah, so now I've still got to pour some oil in here, into the little wells in there, and I've got to adjust the tappets. Okay, so tappets all set, set very nicely. 0.8, 0.12, or whatever it is. Whatever it says. Yeah, inlet 0.12. Or 0.8 of an inch, which is what I did there. What was it? I can't bloody remember what I did. Brain's gone now. No, 0.8 millimeter. I set that one to. And I set that one to 0.12. Basically just because the engine's worn. If I need to adjust, I can adjust them up. And that's in millimeters. So we have oil, as you can see, in there. And then little chambers in between for the cam lobes. I've turned the engine over a couple of times, obviously, when I'm doing the tappets. Next job is these. Right, the exhaust system. Oh, sugar. And there goes one of the bolts. Right. Two things with these. Number one, these rubbers have to be in particularly good condition. If they're not, then you can get air leaks and various other things, which could cause you a lot of problems. Number two is, what the hell do I do with the copper grease? Which should be around here somewhere, but the shed's in a disastrous state at the moment. So, I had the copper grease, just got to find it. I'll be back in a sec once I've searched for it. Right, found the copper grease. So, every time you put in steel into aluminium, you should reuse some copper grease. You need a tiny little amount. Don't know if the camera will focus on that, but you don't need a lot. You need a tiny little amount on there. Just coat the threads. So, brand new one of these. Try and get that bolt on there. Right. Let's just coat the thread to stop it seizing, because you can get, obviously, corrosion between the steel and the aluminium. Right, there's one going in. Right, just leave that hanging there for a sec. Bit more copper grease. No, it's not a huge amount, but just enough to coat the threads. Stop it from all seizing up on me. That way, next time I want to get them out, they should go out easier. I know the bolts look a bit rusty on that, but that one's going in. I do have the clamps. They're hanging outside at the moment. They dried yesterday. You'll see those in a few minutes. Oh. Of course, the advantage of these is they've got new O-rings on the back of them. You can still buy them, they're not expensive. Let's get a spanner and just tighten that one up. I know how I'm going to get the carbs in. Well, I'm going to undo the airbox to get the carbs in. So I'll solve that problem. This one will do up. It's a pain to get your fingers in there, especially if you've got huge fingers like me. Yeah, the angel ring never comes off. Alright. Now let's just do up this side a bit. And that side's fairly good. Let's just tighten up a bit more. So we know it's got a good seal on there. Not a lot of room to get in on this side. But it's one of them things. That pipe is a pain in the ass. Try and get a bit higher now. Right, there's that one. That one's tight. this one now. And yeah, that one's now tight. Right, so there's one. I'll do the other one and we'll get on with the next stage. Show you why I'm replacing the old rubbers. As you can see, they look a bit knackered around the sides. Can't be sure how good they are anymore. So they're both the same, both a bit knackered. So I just thought, yeah, rather than just paint the ends black like a lot of people do, they weren't that expensive. So I thought, I'll buy new ones. They do have the part number on them that you can see there. They say 413 on them, which is obviously the Honda Dream. So that's the correct part number for them if anyone wants to order some. Right, back to it. Right, there they are with the clamps on. The clamps, I just gave a coat of satin black yesterday because it was nice and sunny out. There you go, you can see them. It's one of them things, just helps tidy the bike up, that's all. So both of those are on. Next job, I guess, is to buy a decent bloody camera. That is to fit this engine mount back on. Then mount it up here with the correct parts. Then get the rocker cover on. I've got a new gasket for the rocker cover. I've got the bolt, I've got the engine mount. Engine mount could do with paint, but I'm going to leave it for now. It reflects the age of the bike. Then sort out all the bits of wiring that are hanging down, etc. So let's give it a shot. Right folks, centre engine mount on. Use the original bolts. Bit out of breath, just kicked it over to make sure I had a spark. Original bolts there. Interesting little original bracket. Holds the wiring loom up there. Don't know why that's there. Don't forget guys, you need this to hold the cables when they loop round. Go through there. And under here, to your carbs, which are currently not there. Yeah. So that's the original CDI. I've changed the stator. Got a stat ring in there. The original coil. So I'm hoping that solves the problem. We do have a nice spark now. Before we had an intermittent spark. Right guys, gave the rocker cover a quick buff over on the buffing wheel, just to make it a bit tidier. There's the buffing wheel. Put the rocker cover on. New rubber gasket here. The only reason I did that was as a precaution. Rocker cover isn't great. Still doing more polishing. Put the top bolts back in. When you put these in, they're meant to be at 6 to 9 foot-pounds. Now I just snug them up. I don't use a torque wrench or anything, but don't over tighten them. If you over tighten them, A, you're snapping them. B, you'll crush the rubber underneath it, and then you'll start to get oil leaks from the gasket. Because stop that leaking is what these are for. The gasket, believe it or not, fairly irrelevant. If these aren't good, this will leak somewhere around the circumference of it. So just make sure that's done. Also put cables on the carbs, and I've just undone the airbox just to get a bit of movement in it. Not a huge amount, but just enough. Then get a bit of extra room to try and wiggle the carbs in, because where these rubbers are new, I don't want to wreck the edges of them. So I'm going to fit the carbs quickly and we'll see how well that goes. Right, I managed to wriggle the airbox enough to sort of get the carbs in there. Still need a bit of adjustment with the fitting, but they are So we're getting there. Where I can, I try to use original bolts. There's that spare green earth wire. I like to use original bolts where I can, just for the simple reason that it's part of the bike, part of the originality of it. Some bikes, like the blue one that's outside, I tend to just use stainless hardware because it's easier. But these, if you make that, it's got the little circle in the middle, whatever that is. I don't know actually what it is. Yeah, it's like a circle or a double D, like back-to-back D. That's what I try and do. Try and use all the original hardware where I can if it's good enough. This bike, luckily, I managed to save most of it, which is quite good. So it's getting back together. I did have to remove that top engine mount bracket just to get that in there enough. So there's those ones. Tuck the wires in. That one goes in there, like so. It goes under there. Yeah, that one goes under there. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. This is, I don't know why, being a US model, it's got the Super Dreams style electrics plate, which has got this on. The Dreams never had this. Or not the UK spec ones. The American ones did. Okay guys, so I got the bike back together. Quality, I got the carbs on. Threw the side panels on, and the tank, because I need the fuel supply. Which is there. So, ran it for about 5-10 minutes. It still wasn't running right. No oil leaks, which is good. None whatsoever. So that's a good sign. Why is this thing being a pain? But anyway, no oil leaks. It still won't rev above about 4,000. So I've changed the stator ring. Haven't changed the cover, but the cover looks fine. So next step would be the CDI unit, which is under the tank, and the coil. I've got another coil there, complete with new HT caps on it. So what I'll do is I'll try swapping that over. These HT caps aren't that old, so I don't think it's coil. Personally, I think it's carbs. Don't know what's wrong with them. Probably need a good ultrasonic cleaner. I haven't got an ultrasonic cleaner. So what we'll do is I'll swap over the CDI. Probably put the brand new one on there. I don't know. That'd be the best bet. Rex's Speed Shop CDI. And swap over the coil if the CDI doesn't work, or it doesn't solve the problem. Not that it won't work, it's if it doesn't solve the problem. So I'll just swap that over and I'll get back to you. Right, Rex's Speed Shop CDI unit, very basic looking unit. Comes with a metal plate, which, as I said before, is very poorly finished. Aluminium laser cut plate. A CDI unit and 2 cable ties. That's what you get in the package. Right, now it's got the wire there for your kill switch. You've got the normal wire that plugs into your CDI unit, or plugs into the stator, right? And you've got this one that I have a problem with. I'm going to have to either create some adapter wires, or just chop that plug off and put some bullet connectors on there, because they don't give you an option of this, which would be nice. They sent you a message and said, hey, what connection do you want? Bullet connectors or square plug? I'll go bullet connectors, but no, they're a pain in the ass. They just give you a square plug. So one of them things. Right, I'm going to link this up, and it replaces that one there, the TIA 01-20 unit, and let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so as you can see from that, guys, with that CDI unit on it, it revs. Alright, the carbs are rough. Something's not right with them. But the bike revs. It revs well. Up to about 10,000 before I turn the camera on, which isn't bad. It wouldn't go above 3,500 to 4,000. Oh, where is it? That side, sorry. Yeah, 3,500 to 4,000, and I'd up 10,000. Just go show the CDI was at fault, not the Stator. So, faulty CDI. It looks like this when it's on the bike. Let's get a bit further out so you can see. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I've still got to put all these cables back. Tidy up all this, which is hanging down, but I've got a feeling that hangs down quite a bit more than the original CDI unit, which I don't like the idea of. I'm glad it started, glad it went up so high on the revs, because that goes to show that it can do. Now the carbs need tuning. Might swap the coil over and make sure, or see if it does make a difference, even though I do like the coil that's on there. It is still the original coil, which is unusual. So Rex's Speed Shop CDI seems to solve the problem. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, those cable ties do hold it quite well in there, so I'm quite surprised about that. Right, and guys, so far we have got the engine back together, we've got the carbs, and we know that it revs. We know that the CDI unit was the fault, so that's where the problem was. We've got the Rex's Speed Shop CDI unit in there. Now, what I'll do next episode, next video, is we'll tackle the carbs. Now, I don't like making videos, and I hate doing carbs. I'm no good with carbs, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, things are improving slowly. Rock cover's looking tidier. Looks tidier from both sides, as you can see. The engine is looking not too bad. Still got to do the clutch cover. But yeah, so we're getting somewhere. So next video we'll have a look at doing the carbs. I will sort out some instead of these little adapter wires for the blue and white wire on the CDI unit that go to the Stator. I did muck up and call these exhaust rubbers during the video. I noticed that they're inlet rubbers, and you can replace them. We've got a few other things to do like this that we will sort out. I've got to put another bolt in there because I'm changing those from Allen bolts to standard bolts just to make it look a bit more original. They will be stainless because I don't have the original bolts. So yeah, I'll call that a wrap for today, and then we will continue in the next video. Okay, cheers for watching. If you get a chance, check out Junkyard Mook, and Mook is spelled M-O-O-K, and I'm not smiley and happy like people like Hoovy, or Tavares, but they've got a lot more money to spend. I haven't. I'm broke. So yeah, check out Junkyard Mook. She's absolutely brilliant, funny as, and yeah, if you like the video, like and subscribe. See if we can get this thing running again properly. I'm not sure with those carbs, to be honest with you, but I'll give them a shot. See how we do. I do have vacuum gauges over there, supplied to me by a friend of mine. It's out in that brown box. So we'll see what we can do and see if we can get the old girl running properly. Okay, take care, folks. If you want to like and subscribe, it's up to you. It would help. Take care. Bye.